And with that, I welcome you to the SU-122V review. V for victory, or V for the shape of this tank, because it's a battle wedge. And no, it's not a Stridswagen, a battle wagon, it's a battle wedge. First things first, this thing is very unique when it comes to its gameplay. You will see in the clips very shortly that this does not play like your average Stridswagen, your average siege mode tank. In its siege mode, it's incredibly fast. For a siege mode, it goes 20 forward and backwards. And it has incredible armor. Because I'm not kidding you, the armor model is insane. However, it also has glaring weaknesses, like a massive lower plate. And as soon as somebody's above you, the armor doesn't work anymore. And the gun is very inaccurate. Fun story. The SU-122V, as far as I'm aware, is the only, in quotation marks, siege mode tank where if you go into the siege mode, you do not get better accuracy, you do not get better aim time, you do not get better DPM, you only get better gun handling during your movement. Not even during gun movement, just during your whole movement. And you lose, obviously, your KPH, but you gain up to 10 degrees of gun depression. That's it. The siege mode is purely there for you to play aggressive. This is a battle wedge. You want to go into the enemy's face and use your armor and your DPM. Because your DPM is frankly really good. It's based around 2.9k. And with just a couple of upgrades, even standard equipment, I've got mine to almost 3.8k DPM. Which is kind of nuts if you think about it. Especially as you can play this tank, as already mentioned, aggressive. Its 122mm gun also has 440 alpha, 270 pin and 315 APCR pin. So yes, you lack a little bit on the premium round pen department. However, your standard pen is pretty good. Currently, we've got told that this tank is going to be sold for real money. I don't know if it also includes gold. I guess we'll see that on launch. The thing is though, if it's going for gold, it might actually be a pretty interesting pickup for some of you. The main point with this tank is it really proposes a unique player experience. As you are fairly quick, you have really decent armor, and you have this siege mode which takes 1 second to get in and out, as well as the ability with its armor to actually play on the front lines. And I think this is now a really good point that we start having a look at the gameplay clips I have prepared for you lads. First up, we start off on Fjords, and just look at the minimap, how quick we were in that position. And also pay attention, this was us switching to siege mode. It's 1 second to go in and out. And now we are already in the position. Yes, we have a turbo, we have a rammer and HP. And there is a Joe tank, because this was just right with the release of the Joe tank. And look, a 50 TP. He bounces us with standard rounds. Okay, yeah, that's fair. And do you notice how long the aim time is? That is what I meant. You do not get any buff in aim time. Your base aim time is, I think, 2 seconds. And your gun handling is not good. And your accuracy is 0.4 base. So it really ain't that good. It's still good enough when you are fighting in close range. Almost like this tank is designed to play at close ranges. And I believe the Samoa and the 50 TP really noticed that. And you also were able to see the incredible DPM. Now we are on a different map. We are on Ghost Town, and well, yeah, 300 meters we do hit it. And yes, this tank actually has pretty decent camo. During my intro clip farming, I did notice that as well, that even in open field, its camo, if it stands still, is pretty decent. What cannot be said at its gun's reliability at range, let's put it that way. The thing about this clip, which is very interesting, is not that my team folded like a wet paper towel tower. The interesting thing about this map is, or this gameplay clip is, you will see that the 430 is pushing us and he won't have any issues penning us frontally. Not into the lower plate, upper plate. Ta-da! And it's not because he's shooting APCR, that actually doesn't make any difference. The difference is that he is above us. Yes, we were able to also shoot through his turret. I'm going out of the siege mode to get a little bit closer and push him back so the convoy can finish him off, so yay for that. However, our position is completely compromised because we cannot get out. There is a Cho tank coming for us, there is an Ares coming for us, and there are probably other vehicles as well coming for us. Sadly enough, I aimed like a monkey, was not able to detract the Strv Future 4, otherwise I could have maybe farmed it for quite a bit, as we right now are struggling with 10 degrees of gun depression. Because our tank is so flat, you notice that 10 degrees is good, but it's not good enough in certain situations. We get one more shot in, but now it's completely over. You can see we're getting overrun by 4 people. Next up, I want to once again showcase to you guys the mobility is good enough. You're not as fast as a scout, obviously, but I'm fast enough to get into a position that if there is somebody trying to go onto the hill or shooting at the hill like this Phantom in the enemy team, we were able to shoot him. I don't know. I guess I'm starting to go mental. And the funny thing is, I guess he tried. He was like, what the hell is this tank? What do I do? Do I pin it? And he tried to again and didn't work out. Anyways, he didn't peek anymore, so we went for the heavy flank, which I want to do in as a backup plan anyway. And I was a little bit concerned about the Tiger Mouse, but then I was like, hey, I almost have 4k DPM. Let's show the Emil. Let's do some limit testing. So we literally just drive into the Emil. Funnily enough, I actually destroy his turret ring, so he cannot turn his turret. Also pretty decent ram, by the way. Probably something for our Swedish power couple, AG, Awesome Epic Gaze, Adrian and Swatch. Because that thing has 200mm of frontal armor. That is great for ramming. And you could see that during the engagement I was switching into siege mode, but no worries, we get the 50 TP, I guess another 50 TP to our name. And now I want to showcase you a big problem with siege mode tanks. They tend to overturn. That's literally what happened there. This might also be, this might generally be an issue when you start using experimental turbo or improved rotation mechanism to kind of combat the lack of decent gun handling. You could even see it here as well, but now I was prepared to not let it happen to me. However, we just ate up this heavy tank flank. And we get one more shot into this object in right about now. Still with AP, by the way, not APCR. And we go back out of the siege mode, and yeah, there we go. The funny thing is, if you go full throttle and you go into siege mode, chances are very high that you get into the siege mode at the second you stop. Because it continues to slither so long. And I assume the Strv Future 4 was a little bit confused, like, what the hell am I supposed to do? And now we have a tortoise in the back. For all intents and purposes, yes, I did say the gun accuracy ain't that good. But on 300 meters, it looks like it's good enough to hit the massive cupola of the tortoise several times. I looked up, like, what is the actual pen again on this vehicle? And yeah, I wouldn't need gold ammunition for the cupola. It's just that on off chances I hit something else that I can still penetrate it, but it's crazy. Like, we got 3 shots for free into the tortoise, which is like, what, 1200 damage? But not everything is Guns N' Roses or Sunshine and Rainbow. That's such a close shot. Again, the long aim time is kind of... It's not a deal breaker, but you just need to keep that in mind when you're playing this vehicle. You really do need to keep that in mind. There is our last enemy. We are able to give a shot in, and we're almost at 6k damage. The last game I want to showcase to you is something which is very interesting. The Stridswagen literally wants to do the same thing. The main, challenge is that we can just do it better. We don't have this 40mm faceplate, which he can get easily penetrated. We don't have a big cupola, and we're not susceptible to heat rounds like he is, especially when he shows his lower plate. And I feel like with this tank, it is much easier to not show your lower plate. And that's the same with the Stridswagen 107 as well, because I played this tank and maybe I have a skill issue, I guess, especially if you ask Chloe. But yeah, it's also kind of fun. You can play some more unique positions. However, for some reason, when I'm playing my press account, aka paid Raptor, because PA, press account, 8 Raptor, haha, I know I'm funny, sometimes I get massive leg spikes. like 30 seconds of the game literally killed itself. And guess where this happened? I don't have it on camera, but it had literally happened here while I was driving backwards, more or less, and the game crashed. That's very, 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 very unfortunate, but I think it's a good segue to start yapping about its armor. Because the main gimmick of this tank literally is all about the angle of its 100mm upper front plate. This is against itself. This is against its own AP. And here you can start seeing the little weak spot I penetrated with the E25. Well, it's not that little, and that's the thing. If you start knowing where to shoot this tank, especially when you shoot premium rounds, you have a pretty solid chance of penetrating right around the gun mantlet. You can even shoot into the gun and you have a pretty decent chance of penetrating. Only if you hit the outer corners of the gun ring or the muzzle brake, it becomes harder. But as soon as you start aiming for the gun mantlet itself, especially with premium rounds, it should be fairly easy. So, I've told you about the 430U. Why did he pen that so easily? Very simply, he was above us, and as soon as you're above us, you can see there you either have auto bounce because it's 70 degrees, or you have pen because it's below 70 degrees. That's how easy it is. That's how simple it is. And that even includes APCR. As you can see, there is no point because APCR also bounces at 70 degrees angle, apparently. It just has worse normalization. So this begs the question, is it really that strong against the Jack Pan C100 as well? Yes. Yes, the armor is literally that strong. If you are hold down, the Jack Panzer, depending where he is hitting, he has like a 8% chance of penning. And he has very often like no % chance of penning. Still, gun mantlet, keep that in mind, the gun mantlet is the weak spot, and if you start being flatter, he has better time penning you. So the other weak spot with this vehicle is the cupola, but it's tiny. There were not that many situations I got penned in it. The majority of my deaths have been simply through the lower plate because it's 200mm, which means a lot of people can pen it. You can bait people with positioning like yourself like this. That's again against Jack Pan C100 heat. And with the lower plate being also angled, but you need to try to get somebody in. Like this tank will definitely bully lower tiers like tier 8s, which are not shooting premium rounds. So as an example, let's take something like the Progetto, you know, like still one of the most played medium tanks on tier 8, for example. Yeah, it will have a tough time penning you. Sure, the gun mantlet is partially a weak spot. The lower plate is the big weak spot. As you do premium rounds, then the lower plate is also becoming a free pen. But the main problem is that it will really stump the lower tiers, even without going hold down. And everything on its same tier or above, you will still be able to battle wedge yourself your way out of if you are hold down and able to hide your lower plate. Very quickly, side armor 40mm. Same as the lower side armor, meaning that if you see a SU-122 and you have a 122mm gun, you can overmatch this. Like, you can literally pen it in this acute angle and you can't do anything about it. Or in this angle, because that's just a 10mm armor plate. This up here is 25 and this below is 15, meaning that RD really will like to shoot you. The good thing is, I didn't have that many, how should I say, engine fires, but you will probably get some sooner or later because as far as I'm aware, your engine is in the front. There's also the road wheel in the front, but that's just the transmission. But transition fires do not exist anymore for literally like 10 years by now. I don't know if you have fuel tanks in the front though. Maybe you do. I actually do not remember through my gameplay. In any case, where does this leave us with the SU-122V? I think if you have gold left over and it's going to be sold for gold, it is a really decent pickup. I'm aware that it's going to be sold for real life money, which is good because it's not in a loot box. That is great, we like that. Then again though, the question is it worth X amount of money? Depending what your financial situation is. I have to say, and you want to spend money for this game, you will receive a very unique gameplay experience. Because yes, it is not as accurate as the Stridswan, but you have so much more reliable armor with much tinier weak spots than what the 103B has and the 107. So if you enjoy these vehicles as attacking TDs, the 122V will be very much right up your alley. If you want to snipe with this vehicle, yes, it will work. You still have enough DPM to throw shit at enemies. Your pen is okay enough, but you're not playing the tank to its full potential. For me personally, because of the uniqueness of the tank, you know, that it just is a type of gameplay I've not experienced yet. So kudos to Wargaming to make such a gimmick-heavy tank. Well, not heavy tank, but a gimmick-heavy tank, which works well without feeling completely, how should I say, stupid, is kudos, you know? It is a mechanic which we'll have in the game for quite some time, and I feel like it has been executed really uniquely in a really good way. So, yeah, I've had my fun, and it is a unique playing experience. What I cannot take away is how much money you want to spend on this game and if you want to get it or not. To me personally, I would probably buy it depending how expensive it is. Like if it's like 35 euro, I might say, you know what, maybe it's good enough. But then again, with 35 euros, if it is 35, you can still buy a lot of other stuff, especially in the current economy, which is very poor. Regardless, I hope this review was able to help you out showcasing the SU-122 and what it can do. My name is RagingRaptor. Don't forget to subscribe and actually let me know if I should do a review on some other vehicles. Let me know in the comment section below and maybe I'll do it when we have a little bit of cooldown time again. Cheers and see you around.